Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good afternoon again to our viewers and our panelists for our IRF webinar sessions, which we have started this series of webinar sessions going back to the past around 3 months back, when we generally, I think globally as well, we in the situation of facing with the threat and the problems due to the virus of COVID-19 that made us starting to have regular discussions and online sessions on important topics related to the society and in the world generally, to say. And over the past sessions in the past months, we've at IRF, we have covered important and critical discussions related to the rule of law, related to freedom of religion, related to the situation of the economy, related to how do we generally suit to the situation of the new normals due to COVID-19. And we have received speakers speaking in our webinar sessions, including Dr. Shad Salim Faruqi, Prof. Jomo, and several others important speakers. And I'm sure now we could say generally that at least in the situation in Malaysia, we have more or less passed the most critical or the peak situation of COVID-19, and we generally have resumed situation life in the situation of the new normal. But still, we have realized that it is still a good platform for us to continue our important discussions on our online Zoom platform through these webinar sessions, as we have managed to increase and also engaged with a lot of viewers, members from other parts of the world beyond Malaysia. And for this particular webinar session, we are going to discuss another important topic, which is on xenophobia and how does it relate to the situation of COVID-19. Without elaborating much about the topic, understanding our limited time, and we are going to have two important speakers that will explain even more comprehensively, I would say, on the topic. But at least to touch one important and I think interesting point related to COVID-19 and xenophobia, I would just like to reflect a situation in the past months, recalling one infamous speech, I would say, from the president of the US, in which commenting about the issue of COVID-19, instead of calling the virus COVID-19, he instead used rather name the virus as the Chinese virus. Understanding the scale of the complexity of the case, and how does it relate to international politics, and how does it relate to the situation of fear during the time of the crisis, and certain institutional policies and intervention steps, you could say, taken by certain governments towards certain communities of the people, raises important concerns on how and why is it a condition caused by what we could say as an invisible threat, which got caused by a virus, could actually cause an effect to a certain communities, especially vulnerable communities, which are being seen as the others. So even though knowing that the threat comes from a virus, but in different communities and different societies, communities who are being seen as others being seen as a threat, which have also caused certain inhuman treatment towards some of these communities. Understanding the situation, it is not only something that happened outside of Malaysia. It was also a concern in Malaysia. I think a few months back, Malaysia, we were in the headlines of several news channels when it comes to the treatment of foreign workers and also refugees communities, mentioning in particular the communities of the Rohingya refugee communities here in Malaysia, in which certain actions being taken by the government, even though for the reason of protecting the safety and security of the country due to the threat of COVID-19, have also raised some alarming comments or complaints regarding the treatment towards others as part of people staying and living here in Malaysia. So to proceed with our discussion on this topic, xenophobia and COVID-19, we are having two important and prominent speakers from the north and also from the south of what we could say the Malaysia as the peninsula of Malaysia. First of all, Professor Dr. Fauzi from Penang. Professor Dr. Fauzi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much. Welcome again. Welcome to our webinar session this time. And also Dr. Azhar Ibrahim. Are you there as well?
Yeah, thank you, Ehsan.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Azhar. Okay, so for the first speaker, I shall invite Professor Dr. Ahmad Fauzi first, but let me just briefly go through to read a bit about the biography of Dr. Ahmad Fauzi, especially for those who may be unaware. Professor Ahmad Fauzi Abdul Hamid. He's a professor of political science, School of Distance Education, and consultant researcher with the Center for Policy Research and International Studies at the University Science Malaysia USM in Penang. In 2008 to 2009 and in 2015 to 2016, Dr. Ahmad Fauzi he held visiting fellowship with the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies RSIS at the Nanyang Technological University NTU and the ICS Yusof Ishaq Institute in Singapore, respectively trained as a political scientist and political economist at the Universities of Oxford, Leeds, Newcastle, United Kingdom. Dr. Fauzi's research interest lies within the field of political Islam in Southeast Asia. I'm sure very much those who are reading or following the topic of Islam, the Malay world, the works of Professor Ahmad Fauzi is something definitely not foreign at all. He's currently one of the main reference when it comes to the topic. Dr. Ahmad Fauzi have published extensively in several important journals and publications. I think there's no need for me to list through all the publications. I think I will just best for me to just straight away to invite Professor Ahmad Fauzi to give his speech. And I would like to welcome Dr. Ahmad Fauzi, please.